Welcome to the next LUX Onshape tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to look at making or modelling the head. So as always, in our directory, let's create a new document. Call it LUX head. So go into the design area and we're going to start off on the right work plane. So right click on the right work plane, select new sketch, right click and select view normal to sketch plane. Now we're going to start off with a couple of lines just to help us guide what we're going to do and also form part of the sketch. So just dragging out a horizontal line and a vertical line from the origin, and then I'm going to dimension those. The vertical line I'm going to dimension 35 millimeters and the horizontal line I'm going to dimension 80 millimeters. We're now going to use the ellipse tool, which is under the circles. So we use ellipse. I'm going to click on the origin for the center. I'm going to click at the end of the horizontal line, and then I'm going to click at the end of the vertical line, and that gives us the ellipse that we want. I now want to create an inner line, so I'm going to use the offset tool on that. So click on the offset tool and click on the ellipse. Now it's done it on the outside, I want it to come on the inside, so just drag the arrow the other side, and then I'm going to double click on the number and change that to 5. So we've got a 5 millimeter ellipse. I'm now going to trim away the bits we don't want, so I'm going to use the trim tool. So that part of the ellipse, that part of the ellipse, and then the inner and outer line. So I've just got this shape here, which I'm now going to revolve. So I'm going to use the revolve tool. I'm going to click in the axis dialog box, and I'm going to select that short horizontal line and click on the tick to say I'm happy. So that's the shape that it's created. And I'm going to select the front, right click, select new sketch, right click and view normal to the sketch plane. I'm now going to drag out a circle, so I need to change the tool to the center point circle and drag out a circle that's in between the two edges, and then dimension that to 64 millimeter diameter. I'm then going to use the extrude tool. I'm going to remove, and I want a distance of 3. Click the tick, and you can see it's just made a little recess in there that the lens would fit into a 3 millimeter acrylic lens or something. Makes it easier for modeling. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is add some bosses either side of the head that will attach it to the neck. And to do that, I'm going to create a new work plane. So I'm going to hover over to the right work plane. I'm going to right click. I'm going to select offset plane. And I'm going to change the distance to 27.5. If I press tab, it should update. Now you want it to come towards you, so as it is on the screen at the moment. If it goes in the other direction for any reason, just use the opposite direction tool. But that's the direction I want. You can see it's already labelled it as plane 1. So click the tick. I'm now going to select plane 1, right click, new sketch, right click, view normal to sketch plane. I'm going to use the center circle tool. I'm going to line up with the origin and come across, and then I'm going to drag out a circle, and I'm going to dimension that circle to have a diameter of 20 millimeters, and I'm going to dimension it so that from either the front edge or the origin, it doesn't matter which, the center of the circle is 60 millimeters along. I'm now going to go to the extrude tool. I'm just going to hold the right mouse button down and spin it around so you can see the changes that happen. I'm going to change the blind to up to next, and I'm going to change the direction. So you can see that that circle is being extruded up to the next surface that it makes contact with. Click the tick to say I'm happy. I mean, it seems to have brought that up as a separate part, but that won't matter for the moment. What we can do is we can edit that, if that's the case. It's come up as new, so let's change that to add. made that part of the same part. I'm now going to mirror that because I want one of those bosses on the other side. So I'm going to go to mirror. It says part mirror. I'm going to change that to feature mirror. I'm going to select the feature, which was the extrude 2. And the mirror plane. Now I need to make sure I select the right plane, not the new plane that I created. Click the tick. If I spin that around, you can see that it's added it to the other side. We now need to put a hole all the way through. So right click on that surface, new sketch, right click, normal to sketch plane, center circle tool, line that up with the middle, drag it out, dimension it to 6mm, feature, remove, select through all, click tick, we've got the hole going all the way through. Okay, we also need a hole in the back there for the cable to go through. So I'm going to select the front plane, new sketch, right click, view normal to sketch, and again another center circle starting from the origin, drag that out, and I'm going to dimension that to be 11mm to allow a cable to pass through. And then I'm going to remove. Now it says merge scope here. You can see that's come up because we've drawn a sketch in space. So the first thing I do is just to change that so it says through all. And then with the merge scope box selected, I'm going to click on part 1. Now you can see it's put that hole through part 1. So I can tick the box. And that's that part nearly done. Let's just tidy up this joint a little bit. So let's go to our fillet tool, change that to 3, click there on that line and there on that line to sort of blend those in. And that's our head drawn.